What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on either twitch.tv or YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave's got the camera angled a little up, or he's sitting a little bit down in his chair. It's got a lot of space above your head, Dave. Dave's like, you can't see me. I want to hide. But how you doing today, Dave? I've already talked to you about your day, but got to ask you on the show. Contractually obligated. How you doing?
All I've had today is coffee. I need food.
That's not good. That's not good. That's just going to make you shit.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I mean, that's if you got anything in you because you haven't eaten at all.
Yeah, I ate food before, but yeah, no. We need to get this show on the road so you can get a nap and I can get some food in.
Dude, today's been a day where if you guys didn't tune into MVP Games Live at 3 o'clock happened, and then I don't know what, it was like a wave of just like, you are fucking tired. And I'm just like, whoa, I fucking hate this shit. So yeah, I'm going to go take a nap after the show, but we got a jam-packed show. It's a little bit of everything today, Dave. We got a little bit of football, little bit of NBA. What?
It's like leftovers from Thanksgiving.
It's exactly that. A little bit of football, the leftovers from Monday night, a little bit of NBA training camp starting today as we're, 2-3 weeks away from the season, and a week away from your and I's official NBA predictions, because we're going to do that next Tuesday. And then we're going to end the show with Wooden Award winner talk, because the top 50 list for the Wooden Award. Yeah, the top 50 list got announced today, and there are some names on there that I would love to win the Wooden Award, but we're going to talk about who we think could be winning that award. But before we get into everything, make sure to join the best community on the internet if you have not already. That is the MVP Discord. Link on YouTube is down below, !Discord. Puts that into Twitch chat for you, so you can go ahead and join the Discord today. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you do that. You get to interact with the show, get to pick your wet boy each and every day for the patrons. And also, thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. Link again down below in the description, or ! Patreon gets it into Twitch chat. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids, but we're also on YouTube as well at MVP Sports. So go ahead and follow and like and sub at both places. But Dave, before we get into, so the NFL story has to do with one of the teams that played last night. So we'll kind of mention first, last night there was a football game. DK Metcalf did his job, Dave, as he probably was good for you because he won me my other fantasy game, the only one that mattered for me this week. So
have you updated our Twitch listing?
What? I haven't changed. I'll change that while you're talking. I'll fucking do that.
DK Metcalf, real good football. Remember how we all memed on that guy for working out in shorts and his 40 time and his cone drill?
You guys memed on him. I loved him. I always loved DK. I'm just saying, like, the populace, like the greater you. Everyone memed on him, and I was like, DK Metcalf, one of the best receivers in this draft.
Yeah, we talked about, hey, why didn't it translate to numbers in college? But at the same time, when you have someone who's that much of a freak of nature physically, look, it's not a bad guy to have on your team. And he's been nothing shy of amazing. He was a one-man wrecking crew out there. Russell Wilson always had him open. No matter where he was on the field, DK's open. That's the lovely thing about having someone who is just bigger, stronger, faster than every other human being out there on the field. And so I loved... Go ahead.
I was going to say, did you hear what was said to him by a certain Jim Schwartz?
What did Schwartz say?
So this was, I think, before the game. Schwartz said to DK that, I spent time coaching Calvin Johnson. You're good, but you're nowhere near as good as Calvin Johnson. And DK took that personally. And then he went off for 177 yards last night.
I would take that personally, absolutely. It
was funny though, because in the post game he talks about, he goes, one of the coaches came up to me from the Eagles and said, you're good, but I've coached Calvin Johnson and you're not as good as Calvin. And he goes, I kind of took that a little personally. And then the announcer right away was like, or not the announcer, the reporter right away was like, was it Jim Schwartz? And he looks at him and goes, yeah.
Don't save face for that man. Yeah, it's Jim Schwartz. He's to blame. No, I loved it. DK, amazing performance. He's a stud out there, and he might be a wet boy. I don't even know. I didn't even have a chance to give a wet boy today, so spoilers there. But that game was honestly a mixed bag. Like you got a little bit of hope as an Eagles fan. You got a little bit of hope as a Seahawks fan. Like, hey, the Seahawks didn't give up 1 million points here. We're doing all right. We're slowing things down on the defensive end. Offensively, they looked okay. Again, I don't know. Like, it was a meh game. What happened was exactly what we thought would happen. We thought the Seahawks would win by a score or so. Yeah, no big shocker there. So, like, status quo kind of a game for me.
It was, for me, though, it was one of those where, because the Seahawks were up like 20-3 at one point. So it's like, this is a game where it's like the final score isn't indicative of how the game went.
I agree.
But also, we talked about it numerous weeks. The Seahawks defense is not good. However, the Eagles, and that's what we're going to transfer into, Dave, is everyone today is talking about one of two things, Dave. Number one, that Doug Pederson should be fired as the head coach. I believe I heard today that not only should Pederson be fired, but they should get rid of the GM as well. And then I was listening to, yet again, I saw it on our YouTube. I clicked on it. The clickbait got me, of Big Cat on Pardon My Take talking about Carson Wentz. And he's on the side of, you know what, get rid of Carson Wentz too, because Carson Wentz is garbage. And they even threw out the, they didn't for sure put the label, but they threw out the B word when it comes to Carson Wentz, which I don't agree with there. I'm going to have my own thoughts on Carson, but if you're in Philly, Dave, if you're an Eagles fan, are you sitting there going, a change needs to be made, and I don't care if Doug Pederson won you a Super Bowl, Nick Foles, enough is enough, and should he get canned?
I don't fire him yet. I don't think this is a team where you can fire him yet. I think you play out the rest of the season. I think a lot of people are just frustrated with Carson Wentz's inconsistencies. You know, he was someone who just a couple of years ago was on a hot streak that was MVP worthy, and obviously injuries happen and it resets the timer, it resets his own clock of development. And I think that's what people are just frustrated by. It's like, we saw greatness and then it was taken away, and now you're back and you're not great. Like, what the shit? Yeah. How come you're not there on that level again? The pieces moved. You lost a lot of, that's, people don't talk about the amount of guys who have been hurt, the lack of weapons, offensive schemes have changed as well. They've switched out coordinators. They've switched off quarterback coach. Like, multiple pieces have moved on. I think it's just a case of he needs to have some sort of consistency from one season to the next. I hope that happens this year. I know a lot of people were clamoring. That backup quarterback's got the most popular position in football, Ricky. You know it, and I know it.
The Jalen Hurts show, Dave. Jalen Hurts sitting there.
We both were high on Hurts. We thought this kid could absolutely get to the next level. So
fuck it. I said number one pick, baby. That's what I was saying.
I think that this is a team that they can ride it out this year, see where they're at the end of the year. I'm not ready to move on from Wentz yet. He's had disastrously bad games. He's made dumb mistakes, but at the same time, you don't want to give up on somebody. Again, maybe his contract, I don't know if that's like what his contract situation is. What's coming into this?
I think you're stuck with him for 2 more years. I think there's a potential out after next season. But like the point you hit, the first point you hit is exactly where I'm at with Carson Wentz. Is what do you expect him to do when Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson can't stay on the effing field? Like, this is something, Dave, that irritates me when I listen to people talk about Carson Wentz, because for those of you who don't know, ever since the draft class that Carson Wentz was in, I have been a staunch Wentz supporter, to where I remember Sean Anderson, former MVP, hope you're doing well with the score, love you still, would get into fights where he would call him Clipboard Carson, is what he would call him, because he's like, that's all he's going to do is hold a clipboard in the NFL. And I was always like, nah, man, he's going to be a starter. And the big debate that year was, who would you rather draft, Jared Goff or Carson Wentz? Well, right now, it don't even look like Jared Goff is doing that well. So right
I
now.
think it's slipping like a Chicago accent. Like, it don't look like Jared Goff is doing too well for himself either.
I mean, but he's not. Like, and then, can I get that off my chest? There's a lot of people that add that, like, Sean McVay had to answer a question about whether he thought about benching Jared Goff during their game. And it's like, do you know who the backup quarterback in the Rams are? I looked it up and I don't even remember his fucking name, Dave. That's how much of a nobody he is. Like, of course, yeah. You know what? We're gonna get Hitton from Denver. He's gonna come play quarterback for us. The Wildcat, Dave.
That was. But not like that shouldn't have happened.
But like, Wentz, what do you expect when we saw what he was with Elshon and Deshaun on there? Fuck it, just with Elshon out there, because Deshaun Jackson kind of last year was iffy. But like, when those two guys aren't out there, he ain't gonna do much. Like, the other guys are nowhere near Elshon and Deshaun, and also
this is a wake up call that Carson Wentz isn't Aaron Rodgers, and he can't just throw it to fucking anybody out there.
Or Tom Brady, or New England Tom Brady, I'll say.
Yeah. Miles Sanders, honestly, that was one of the biggest disappointments last night, was Miles Sanders. Yeah. Like, as a fantasy owner, that might be why I'm hyper fixating on this. But look, I know the Seahawks don't have the best support as far as the secondary is concerned, and that teams have blown them up all year passing the ball. But you got to run the fucking rock at some point. Anything. Like, offensive line and weapons need to be addressed for this Eagles team. Carson Wentz needs another year. Doug Pederson needs to have a chance with a roster. And again, that's not on him. He's not the GM. He's not the guys who handpicked who's going out there. So maybe. And again, we're post Super Bowl, baby. Fuck your expectations. Be happy. Be happy. You had two great runs. You made it to Super Bowl 1-1. You made it in a deep playoff run again. Like, I'm sorry. As a team who can't sniff the fucking playoffs right now.
Dave's like, I'm a little salty here, Philly.
You know what I would give up for Carson fucking Wentz right now? God damn.
Oh, man. I love it how and it's not just you,
It all
Dave.
comes back.
No, it's not just that. It's every single person that I've watched that's a Bears fan. It all comes back to that same thing of, like, you talk about another team and you just start getting envious. It's like, oh, you think you have a problem? Try having our problems, and then you won't want problems. But, like, the Doug Pederson thing, I think, has weight to it because, like, the only thing I think of is, yes, like you mentioned, a good point, the staff has changed around. For me, one of the big things that I always look back to, and I've said since he moved on, was with the Super Bowl year, how much of it was Frank Reich and how much of it was Doug Pederson, almost like Patterson, Doug Pederson, because kind of since Reich has moved on, the Eagles now are kind of on the downtrend. Colts are on the uptrend. Like, Colts are a team that's in the playoff push. Will they win a Super Bowl this year? Probably not. Favorite's got to be either the Chiefs or the Steelers. With how they're playing right now. But, like, the Colts are on the up and up, have a really good defense. Phillip Rivers has not been absolute garbage, but he's kind of been hit and miss in some games. But, like, I mean, it is a good question to ask of, you've been there for 4 years now. When is it enough to be like, okay, that Super Bowl you won, that's not going to protect you any longer?
Fucking, what? They're not a team that's only won. Well, I'm going to check their history real quick. How many games have they won the last 2 years?
Thinking it was just like maybe this one's the only bad one?
Well, I mean, like, I know they underperformed, but, like, this year's obviously the shithole season. Don't get me wrong.
Let's see. Last year they were 9-7. So they were 9-7 the last 2 years before this. So they won the Super Bowl at 13-3, 2017. Then 9-7, 9-7, and now obviously 4 wins? I think they have this year so far.
Point is, we are bloodthirsty. Fans are bloodthirsty. Don't give in. Let him go one more year. Let's see where we're at by week 5 of next year. Okay. If Carson Wentz looks like a joke, you've got your backup quarterback already. If Peterson can't call a fucking offense, great. You can, or run a team, I should just say. You can't run a team. Just move on. Like, you are under no pressure to do it right now. Look around. Like, your division, dumpster. Dumpster.
The funny thing is the Giants have the same record, or I'm sorry, a half a game better record than the Eagles. Yep. They are the 19th pick and in the playoffs. The Eagles are at the 6th pick and out of the playoffs. That's where your division's at right now.
Don't worry about it. Everybody is got situations. Obviously, Dallas, no quarterback right now. The Giants just lost their quarterback. Saquon's hurt. It's an off year.
Speaking of the Cowboys, did you hear what Jerry Jones said today?
No.
So you know how the Broncos had no quarterbacks and they had to throw Hinton out there?
Yeah.
He compared that to the Cowboys having to start DiNucci, an actual quarterback. If you're fucking DiNucci, what the fuck? You're sitting there going, "Come on, man! What am I?"
That's disrespectful. I would be embarrassed.
What am I?
Yeah,
I'm better than a wide receiver playing quarterback. Come on now.
Again, remember, 1 pass completion and 1 interception. That's
Wildcat, baby.
DiNucci was better. Wildcat was the answer.
But the last thing I will say is the good thing, if you are an Eagles fan, is if you don't make the playoffs, if you stay where you're at around right now, where you're 6th overall, Jets are going quarterback, Jacksonville would go quarterback, Bengals would probably go offensive line with Sewell there, and then it's Dallas and the Chargers, they're probably not going to go wide receiver. So, hey, Jamar Chase could fall to you. And you could get a Jamar Chase, and that would be something where it's okay, you get Carson Wentz a weapon, even though fucking Alshon and Deshaun might not
been
be
hurt
out
his
there.
whole career, though. That's been the thing against him his whole career. His knock has been his injury history. So, 100% take Jamar Chase. 100%.
Dave, before we go on to the NBA, we're going to do Wet Boys a little bit early, kind of break things up because it's basketball the rest of the way. If you're new to the show, this is the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our players of the day from the previous day. How it usually goes is Dave gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy, and the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids give a wet boy, as Dave alluded to earlier, because of his busy day he had today. Didn't have time to pick a wet boy, so it's just 2 from myself and the patrons. And Dave, my wet boy is not a wet boy for today. It is a misty miss.
Oh.
I'm going with Kendall Holmes, the freshman from the DePaul Blue Demons. First off, 2 things. It was a record. I know they only played Chicago State, so you got to throw that out there. But not only coming off the bench did she give them 33 points with fucking phenomenal percentages from the field and 3. It was a game where DePaul scored, I think it was 128 points, which is a fucking not FBS, but a D1 record. And then they scored 64 points in the first half, which is also a record. They set 2 records in the game.
Yikes. Yikes.
And they completely blew out the Chicago State. I think they're the Cougars or something. That's a green cat as their logo. Maybe the Panthers. But yeah, Kendall Holmes, freshman coming off the bench, wanted to give some love. It was either between her or 2 of the starters for DePaul. But I was you know what? She was the leading scorer, so hell, I'm going to go ahead and give it to her. And then, Dave, you were right. The patrons took DK. Took DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, big boy. Big boy performance.
So really big boy. And I am so glad that he got me 17 points in that fantasy game because I'm so happy. I needed to win that to stay in the playoff hunt for that fantasy league. But those are the wet boys today. Kendall Holmes and DK Metcalf. Congratulations on that. And Dave, we're going to move on into basketball now. The first one, a little Zion Williamson talk, as there's some interesting rumblings with Zion going on out of the mouth of David Griffin. The first one is that, and I said Griffin, I meant Griffin. First off is that he basically said that Zion's going to play the 3 this year, or had alluded to Zion playing the 3. The exact quote from Griffin himself is, people people, I think, unfairly look at him as a big and being limited to a 4/5. When we drafted Zion, the thing that excited us the most was the positionless nature of his game. So we really very much envision a time where Zion's going to be playing the 3 and defending the 3. And we're going to be on and he's going to be on the handle, and Stevens is going to be setting the screen. Dave, what is your thought about Zion Williamson being the 3 for the Pelicans at some point this season? He's probably going to play the 4 and the 5 too in some situations.
Well, I mean, it's positionless basketball. Yeah, get out my fucking stick and start shaking it. It's so annoying. Look, we heard Marvin Bagley was going to play the 3 when he was drafted. You know,
he couldn't stay healthy.
Well, that's his own fucking fault. Yeah. Really unfortunate that that they decided to take him over Luka Doncic. But whatever, that's Kangs being Kangs. Mm-hmm. Point being, we've heard this before from different teams about bigger guys playing different positions. Now, the key difference here to keep in mind is the fact that Zion is actually 6'6". Like, yeah, he's fat. We get it. And that's why he's playing the 4. That's why he was playing the 5. Was purely because he's out of the weight range that we expect a wing to be in. Like, hey, sorry, you don't fit the box. Slide on down to the fat guy position. Like, you know what you can keep up with? Fat guys. The difference is Zion is so athletic, so quick, and so strong that overcomes his weight. Like, we saw him literally leap from the paint to stuff a 3-point attempt.
Yeah.
And just swat the like, no one else can do that. So you know what? If you say he wants to play or you say he's going to play 3, I believe you. Like, now the problem is that David Griffin's a very smart man. David Griffin's also in the front office. Who's their coach?
Stan Van Gundy.
Now, Stan Van loves his bigs. What was the first thing Stan Van asked Griff for? Go get me a fucking big. Go get me Steven Adams. Steven Adams. Again, I'm just going to put that out there for our YouTube followers out there. His name is not Steve Adams. Who everybody says, I don't know OKC. I don't watch OKC. They all call him motherfucking Steve.
Yeah, dude, Dave, do you even watch, bro? Do you even watch, bro?
My pre-show rant was basically just over our comment section talking about I apparently don't watch basketball. Thank you for watching our video, by the way. That's all I'll say. So no, they clearly have the idea that Steven Adams is their 5. I think they love the potential of rolling Melly out there at the 4. They've done it multiple times last year, pre-Zion. Post-Zion, it was a little bit of a mixed bag to see how that would work. But I mean, ideal lineup, what are you thinking? You thinking Bledsoe, Alonzo? I at the 3. I was like,
I feel like
Alonzo's off the bench or Bledsoe's off the bench, and then BI's at your 2.
Yeah,
Zion at the 3, and then you can roll out Melly at the 4 and Adams at the 5. So, that's the thing. Like, Zion can play multiple positions. BI can play multiple positions. Zoe can at least guard multiple positions. He can't play shooting guard.
Yeah, he's a point guard offensively.
Yeah, but defense, I'm saying he can guard 2s because of his size.
Yeah.
So whether they do decide to do that or not is the question. I'm sure we'll see looks. You always see fun lineups. We saw the tall boy lineup out of the Denver Nuggets in the bubble. Was that they rolled out Jokic as their starting point guard. They had MPJ, Bol, Plumlee, and Millsap. It was nobody under 6'7" gets to be in this. It was just for fun, you know. You gotta try it out there.
I mean, the thing that I do, you bring up a good point of if Zion's going to be at the 3, the only lineup I see that being usable in is Lonzo and BI at the 1-2, Zion at the 3, like you said, Nico at the 4, because other than that, the only 2 players I would feel confident, the only 2 players you could put at the 4 are either Jackson Hayes or Willie Hernangomez.
Wancho. I'm sorry, Willie.
Yeah.
Not Wancho. Willie can play at the 4, and that's fine. He provides spacing.
But I'm not putting Jackson Hayes at the 4, is my point. That's the one where it's
I haven't seen enough of him to do that yet.
Maybe you put Willie there, but Nico's probably it. And then all other, because they also have Josh Hart, who yet again, depending
He's
on.
a 4 because he just rebounds really well.
Good point. But you would probably put him at the 3. They also have JJ Redick, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. This is a team.
I ain't playing anything, but yeah.
Yeah, this is a team that I feel the thing I'm most excited for them, and this isn't something where I expect Zion to where it's like, oh man, you're going to be a 3. You're going to be the best 3 out there because, like you said, he's got to lose weight. And Griff,
we've seen photos
that he's apparently lost some weight. And Griff even alluded to it a little bit, where the quotes from Griff in another article, he goes, once he gets to the point where he's healthy enough to play his game, play the ball more, play more as a slasher and less as a post presence, I think you're going to see the real Zion come out or come to the floor. He also says, I think it's hard to identify the things he needs to make the most improvement on as my Chrome crashed on me. So basically, Griff, I feel like when he's saying like healthy, like, he was injured a little bit last year, but I would put into being in game shape and being in shape as a part of that.
And he failed, but whatever. The point is, don't limit Zion. The whole thing is he can do a little bit of everything. He's a specimen like maybe we've only seen once or twice before in the history of the NBA. So if he can put together a shot and if he can get leaned down and stay leaned down, then they absolutely can play him at the 3. It's just what lineup gives them the best results. And I don't know with Nico at the 4 if that's a better lineup because he does get abused. He does get switched on. Like he's getting better at defense, but he has shades of the other Nico, the former Nico. He's a gunner. He's a gunner from the outside right now. He's a floor spacer, which helps them. But at the same time, Zion at the 4, BI at the 3, and having the ability to have a sharpshooter like JJ Redick out there. Or, if they run the Ball Bledsoe backcourt for incredible defense, or say Kira comes out and just looks like a stud. You're like, well, we got a Kira on the fucking court. Like,
that's right. I forgot they fucking got Kira Lewis or Kyra Lewis.
So again, they got a lot of options out there. Like, that's why people, I don't know, to me, when I look at this, I'm like, I understand the headline and why we're talking about it, but at the same time, like, lineups change. Like, I think the Lakers had like 30-something different lineups last year. Like, it's part of the growing in the season. So I'm not shocked to hear it. I do believe he will get minutes being the 3rd guy on, playing the small forward position. But again, they switch. So great. He might be guarding a 3. He might be guarding a 4. He might be guarding, a 5 on some positions, depending on what the pick calls for. Like, it's just know that Zion not done. Don't lock him in as a big, slow, fat guy. That's what Griff's doing. He's hyping up his big boy, and I love it. It's awesome.
And like you mentioned, like the thing that I also think about, and this will be my last point, is it depends on who they're going up against. Like if the team has a 4 where it's like, we don't have to really worry about that guy toasting Nico for his defense. But that 3, that's I was gonna say that. I didn't want to say it, Dave. But in my head,
we're just leaning in.
In my head, I was gonna be like, oh, if they have Lowry out there, and then like as I'm talking about it, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm not gonna rag on him. And then you fucking said it. You took it right from my mind. If Lowry's out there, then Nico, go ahead and guard fucking Lowry because he's not gonna do much for you. But like, if it's also something to where it's like, oh, they've got that, but there's like a Kevin Knox at the 3, and Zion can abuse that 3 defensively. Then go ahead and fucking play him at the 3. The Pelicans, to me, though, the thing I'm most excited for is the versatility of their lineup. Because like you said, I fucking forgot about Lewis Jr., who they drafted this past month.
Kyra's insane. Like, and again, he got all the hype in the world, like in that last month up to it because of his speed. He is such a fast guard out there that like him downhill. Again, we love what Lonzo can do with the full court passing. Imagine with the speed and the fast break with a Kyra and Alonzo out there at the same time.
I was gonna say, could they run a lineup that is Lewis at the 1, Lonzo at the 2, and then Zion at the 3?
I mean, if BI's on the bench, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go on the side of like, oh, if BI gets injured, because that's the only way I see him not.
Don't you put that dirt on him?
I'm not. It's like, but that's the only way I see him not getting like.
They could
minutes.
Go small, yes, and they could go Lewis. Shit, I've even seen stuff where I could totally see them assuming this is Kyra does amazingly well. You can go with a multiple guard lineup like a Lewis, JJ Bledsoe, Zion, Adams / whoever. Hayes. Yeah. And then, or you can slide Zion down and put BI in there. You know, it's like, are you looking for sharpshooting? Are you looking for ball handling? Are you looking for spacing? Are you looking for they've got flexibility as far as matchups are concerned. So I really like this team. I do wonder, JJ Redick, this year's salary, will he be moved? Will he stay? I think he's obviously starting the year with the team, but I think he's one of those guys who his value around the league is just extremely high because of what he does. And it would not shock me if there was a midseason deal, because this is a young New Orleans roster, but they're still very much in the competing mode. Yeah. So things start off well and they're fighting for playoffs, and obviously you don't fix what's broke, but if they're in a position where they hit a bad streak, or BI goes down with a bad injury for a while, knocking on wood, hopefully nothing happens, I would definitely consider that as a possibility, because again, JJ being the best locker room guy he is, but his value is not going to get any higher.
And I'm glad you mentioned them competing, Dave, because today ESPN had an article that reads this. It says 2020-2021 NBA preview, wins and standings projections for all 30 NBA teams. This is going to kind of be our preview as well before we officially make our predictions in a week next Tuesday. So before I have a graphic that's going to have all the wins and losses. Basically how their article did is they gave an average win for each team. So what I did with the graphic is, for example, if the team's average win was 44.5, I rounded up to 45 wins. If it was 44.4, I rounded down to 44. And then out of 72, I just gave you what the wins and losses would be for each team. Here's how the projections worked, though. So I want people to understand these are not our projections. These are ESPN's projections, and this is how they picked them. It says our real plus-minus RPM projections utilize the multi-year predictive version of RPM as a starting point. They're adjusted for typical player aging and then regressed towards the player's projected offensive rating and defensive rating from the shown projection system based solely on box score stats. For players without RPM projections, including rookies, the shown rating was used instead. Games played are projected based on time missed over the previous 3 seasons. I then make a subjective guess at minute distributions for each team. Multiplying those minutes by players' offensive and defensive ratings yield team ratings that translate into expected wins.
It's a little dense.
I use those projections to simulate the season 10,000 times and record the average number of wins as well as how often each team made the playoffs. So here is, off of this average, your playoff standings. So in the East, the playoffs, according to ESPN, is going to be the Bucks at 1, Raptors at 2, Heat are at 3, Sixers at 4, Celtics 5, Nets 6, Pacers 7, and Hawks at 8. You can see all the teams that didn't make the playoffs on the graphic. And then the West, you got Lakers, Clippers, Rockets, Jazz, Nuggets, Mavericks, Pelicans, and Suns all making the playoffs. And you can see that. Yeah, I know, Dave. I know. There's a lot of things here. There's one thing I want to get to first, but I'm going to push that to the side. What is your first? There's probably a lot you want to dive in here. But what's the first thing that jumps out to you like, wait, what the fuck?
How is Golden State?
I know, right? I know, right?
14th in the West.
Is Clay that important? I know he's important, but are they expecting Steph to go down again? Because that's the only way they're getting to 14. I'm sorry.
That dense block of text you read about projecting numbers and bullshit, maybe that had something to do with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, Golden State, I will put down $30,000 today that Golden State will not be 14th in the West. Even if Steph goes down, they still have Wiggins. They still have Oubre. They still have Wiseman. They still have Draymond. Those 4 players, you could put out Ricky. You could be the point guard. You're Nico fucking Mannion.
I know.
Go out there with those 4 guys, and they would still win more than 31 games.
That's the first thing I wanted to bring
Number
up.
2. Number 2.
How are the
Trailblazers are not a playoff team according to this bullshit.
I know. They're going to be a top 4 team, top 3 team. It's bullshit. Top 4, top 3 at least.
Insanity. Absolute insanity.
How are the T-Wolves at 11? Like, maybe it's because of records, but like I expect them. I expect them to be lower. They should be where the Warriors are, Dave.
Again, look at the difference of games because it is a 10-game shorter season. Now everything is tighter.
Yeah.
So like 35-37, they're 2 games under 500. So that's that's basically a 40-42 team. And that's about right. I think that's about right for what they are. Not shocked at all by that. So I'm cool with that. And again, I think in the West, I think the Mavs are being slept on, and I think the Nuggets are perhaps being slept on. I think the Pelicans are not going to be a playoff team. I think that the problem is, like, I think the Pelicans are out. I think the Trailblazers are in. But I think other than that, their playoff teams are correct, but the order is very wrong.
Like,
very wrong.
The Warriors were the biggest jump for me to where it's like, how do you have them at 14? But like,
I think the Warriors might be 7th. I think if I'm doing mine, and I know
like
we're doing ours
6 or 7, like towards the end, towards the bottom.
I think that the Mavs would be higher. I think the Nuggets would be higher. I got Rockets down. I got the Clippers down. I got they're just the Jazz down. Like it is what it is because that's the changes happen. But these are the West is a fucking joke because of that. And again, like I said, they literally got 6 teams, 7 teams correct. 7 playoff teams in here correct that I agree with. Yeah. So order's wrong, but the teams are right for 7 out of 8. Not bad. Not bad. I'm gonna turn the blind eye and say, hey, let's not. Deep breath, Dave. Deep breath. Golden State, won't be there. Unlike last year where I totally call it.
Like, and then the big thing in the East that I saw was, so I will say for the Celtics, they did put in an update that said the news that Kemba won't return to game action until January at the earliest cost Boston a little more than a projected win and dropped the Celtics behind Miami and Philadelphia on average. This update is not yet factored into simulations, and Boston's playoff probability will drop. So they were an 89% playoff team. But it drops a little bit. So, like, if Kemba Walker was healthy, they'd be the 3 seed here. But that's
there's literally one
5.
game. It's 40 win team is the 3 seed, then a 39, 39, 39, 39.
But, like, so, yet again,
3 to 8. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm looking at the seed number and not the actual, like, record number. Yep. Like, the team that jumps out to me is the Nets. To where it's like, yeah, I get why they're at 6 because, like you said, there's 3 teams at 39 and then 1 team at 40.
There's 4 teams at 39.
4 teams at 39. Fucking forgot the Pacers there. But like the Nets, I look at and like they're a team that should be towards the top, right? Because they're getting KD and Kyrie back this year. But
they're so top heavy. Regular season again. Hey, the Lakers were the number 1 seed and they were top heavy. So it's just like, how much do you trust Kyrie and KD staying healthy? 100% that's the gamble. Is like, I think they're going to take games off. I think that they're going to make sure that, hey, both these guys, the point is to get there. The point's not that we need the number 1 seed. We don't need a home crowd because home crowds won't exist. Yeah. Like, so I think that's, for me, I totally get that, being 4 games behind or 5 games behind the number 1 seed. Yeah, that's fine. I think that the standout is the Pacers being in over a team like the Wizards. And I know people are like, Dave, John Wall hasn't played a game in 2 years. I'm like, I get that.
In the Discord, Dave, we talked about this yesterday, I believe. And were
you like, Dave's going to have a problem with this?
No, we talked about like who's in the playoff picture in the East. And I'll be honest, all 8 teams that this has in the East, those were the teams I listed. I listed those 8 teams and said, these are your 8 teams, pick whatever order you want. Like, that's the only thing. And then, like, someone brought up the Wizards. I'm like, yeah, they'll probably be 9th. And then someone said something, and I was like, yeah, but is John Wall, like, they were talking about John Wall. I was like, yeah, but is he going to be healthy, though? Like, throwing it out as a joke, but, like, John Wall, if he's not healthy, that hurts this team.
Healthy John Wall, a healthy Bradley Beal, a healthy Dani Avdija, a healthy Rui Hachimura, a healthy Thomas Bryant, healthy Davis Bertans. Like, they are going to be fucking good, people. Healthy Troy Brown Jr. Remember on this Wizards team? I'm bubble wrapping them all right now. You know what? I won't pick any of them in fantasy. That's what I'll do. I'll make the pimp decision in my fantasy curse Does not affect them because I will not draft a single Washington Wizard.
Did the curse carry over to basketball for us?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, it does.
Dave's like, that's why I'm scared, because at first it hurt all three of us.
If we have too many teams, we might have to share a team, Ricky. That's
You and Soapy could share. Dave Shed Flexers.
Maybe we will.
The Shed Flexers. But, like, to me,
that's
it's like...
my thought. The Pacers are
and they have them at 33. They have them at 33 wins.
Yeah, 33 wins is not a lot. Again, that's 6 games under. So in my head, I just keep having to add 10 games to the season and go, okay, where would this actually be? Okay, that makes sense. Like that, no, that's low. Like the Wizards are a better team than that. I think the fact that the order of like Cavs, Pistons, Knicks at the bottom makes perfect sense to me. I do understand and expect all 3 of those teams to be at the bottom. I'm not one of those people like you showed me earlier, who is a world champion, got the ring, Kendrick Perkins, somehow thinks the Knicks are a playoff team. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me what drug he was on when he made that statement. But I don't
see it. I don't see it because like
I think they've got the idea of those are 3 bad teams. Then there's the medium bad teams with the Bulls, the Hornets, and the Magic. And I do believe that the Wizards are being swapped with the Pacers.
Okay.
Pacers. I think the Wizards Pacers swap because I think, again, a talented John Wall next to Bradley Beal, plus all the additions they've had, the year of growth.
But I mean, the Pacers are talented and they're getting Vic back.
Yeah.
But
who's better? Bradley Beal or Victor Oladipo?
I mean, I get that. Like, I'm not
who's
saying
better,
that
John Wall or Domantas Sabonis?
Yeah, I mean,
but that's the problem.
Right.
It's just talent-wise at the top, the Wizards have more talent.
Yeah,
and then depth-wise, I do like Malcolm Brogdon. I think Miles Turner is a good player. I love T.J. Warren being the basically the successor to the supernova of offense.
Yeah,
but the Wizards are just year in year out. They should be there if they're healthy, and that's why I think is just. I can't agree. I think until the Pacers figure out what they're doing with Turner and Vic, they're just not a great team. So, they're a good team. I think that race for the 39 turns into the race for 8th place at about 37.
Okay.
I think there's going to be 4 teams with 37 wins.
Shit.
I think the Hawks are right there. I love the Hawks. They've had an amazing offseason, and I'm so happy that they are your second team, Ricky, because then they're basically my second team because of that. Them. Like, I will cheer and love them as much as you do.
Like, there's 2 Hawks jerseys I have to get. One of them, I think I'm going to get, one of them has to be the black version. That's going to be a Trae Young jersey.
Oh, yeah, that looks crazy.
And then the red version, got to get a Cam Reddish jersey.
Oh.
We had a comment basically saying someone was hyped we were giving love that finally he's like, finally I find someone that's giving love to Cam Reddish. He's like, I feel like I was the only person that's giving him love.
Man. Nah, like he's legit.
Eric brings up a good point though. Like, and I don't know for my predictions how I'm going to do it is like, is Toronto a lock at the 2?
No,
like,
not even close.
Okay. Like,
I got that.
Like, how far do you think
they're
they fall?
Skate down that rating.
Okay. Like, are they at 6? Or is Kyle it like Lowry, them and the Nets are flipped?
Kyle Lowry is older. They lost Gasol. They lost Ibaka. That's point. Massive. Now, as much as the Baines train coming to town gives them a little bit off, baby. No. They are not a better team unless Pascal Siakam turns into Giannis Antetokounmpo. They are not going to be the number 2 seed.
He could though. He could. You never know. You never know, Dave. You never know.
Yeah. No, I think my ratings will look a little different. I think my orders could be different, but I think that 1 through 6, again, they got 7 of the 8 teams. They're just in the wrong order. Again, I think both East West 7 of 8 teams were both on the same page there, right? You're 8 of 8 on it.
Well, for you, I mean, for me, it's the East is 8 out of 8. Like, I'll spoil it now. Those 8 teams you see in the East, those are going to be my 8 teams. Yep. The 9 teams are right. Because the Wizards, I would say, would be the 9th seed if they miss out. In the West, like I would probably swap the Blazers. The Blazers are in and the Warriors are in. So it's like the Pelicans and the Suns are out. Like, they're 6 of 8 for me in the West. Because, like, I think the Warriors, if Steph is healthy, I know Clay's a blow, but they're still 6 or 8.
Blazers, Warriors in, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Memphis could make a run, but, like, the Suns got better. The Pelicans are versatile. So, like, really, to me, it's like There's not going to be enough fucking spots.
Somehow, I'm with you. I think the playoffs should be extended.
Yeah. Last thing I want to ask you, though.
Play-in tourney. The play-in tourney. Is that
shit.
happen again?
It's 10. Yeah, that's right. It goes all the way to fucking the top 10 teams. I forgot about that.
That's the problem.
So for our predictions, then we're gonna go 10 deep.
10.
Yeah, we'll go 10 deep. Fuck.
I forgot
about that. I totally forgot.
Someone
in the comments would have roasted us.
Oh, Dave, the play-in tourney. Like, we got special. Once there's not enough slots for the good teams. I'm like, oh wait, they did something about that.
Here's the question I want to ask you. This is the last thing before we move on into the Wooden Award 10, the show.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to do our predictions. What I would also like to do, not as a MVP Sports Live, this would be we would have to try to get together to record it. We'll get together to record it, would be our way too early mock draft.
Yep.
But here's how I want to do it this year.
With time, because since you gave me the 1 day notice, and I was like, no, Ricky, I can't do it in 1 day notice.
Yeah.
I've watched and read so many articles on college basketball. And I'm excited.
So here's the question. Do we either do it one of two ways, the order wise. We either use the order that you guys see on the screen. We use these records as our, I basically go through the records and I pick out okay, here's the order. Okay. Or we use our predictions, and our predictions, not for the show. The show would be 10 deep, but for the purposes of a draft, we would go 15 deep, and then we would use hey, in this mock, the way too early, this is our order. No lottery because there's no games played yet. So it would be we're not randomizing it, but it would basically be off of Dave and I's orders put together. This is our draft order. Do you want to go off of ours or off of ESPN's?
I like ours.
Okay, then we're going to go off of ours. We'll also have to record that one
in the Discord.
Yeah, we can also do that as well.
Have some tiebreakers.
Yeah, well, we will have tiebreakers, Dave. You and I don't agree on anything, or not much. We don't agree on. This is not the Sean Anderson, Dave Oster show.
I miss Sean.
I do too.
The We Agree podcast, we would just push you through 2-1 vote everything.
Oh, I fucking hated it. Hated it some days. But last thing we're talking about, Dave, Wooden Award predictions and the list of the Wooden Award candidates, or the top 50 list. Obviously, there's a player that could not be on this list that could get in, has been kind of revealed by ESPN. And there are some notable names on it, Dave. One of the ones that jumps off, and this is, to me, he is the leader in the clubhouse for me, is your boy out of Iowa, Dave. It pains me to say that he's one of your boys because
why?
I'm not gonna like Luka this year. Luka and I are gonna have some beef because of how good the Illini are gonna be this year. We're gonna be in some matchups this year. I ain't gonna like Luka in two games this year, especially Fran McCaffrey. Not gonna like him either.
He was at the bottom end of my first round last year, and I was like, I understand why he's a top pick, but I still think he's a very good basketball player.
Yeah.
And I think there's a role for him. And then this year, he's just come out the gates, just punted them through, just knocked the fucking door in. So credit to him for his incredible performances to start the year. We'll see how and if he can continue at this level, but he's one of the best players in college basketball right now.
So I'm gonna try to make the gambit, Dave. Here are the names on the top 50. So you got Scotty Barnes, Florida State, freshman guard. Charles Bassey, the junior center from Western Kentucky.
I don't need third year Charles Bassey talk. We're going with Charles Bassey's OSP.
BJ Boston, freshman guard out of Kentucky.
Sure.
James Bouknight out of UConn. When they put Connecticut, it's just put UConn. Sophomore guard. Garrison Brooks, North Carolina, senior forward. Greg Brown out of Texas, the freshman. Jared Butler out of Baylor, the junior. Marcus Carr, Minnesota. Kahi Clark, Virginia, the junior. Kofi Coburn, Illinois, the sophomore. Jalen Kuchar out of Dayton. Cade Cunningham, number one pick in the draft. That's the Wooden Award winner right there. Freshman. Oscar De Silva with Stanford. Ayo Dosunmu. John Fulkerson. Marcus Garrett. Luka Garza. Colin Gillespie. Kellen Grady. Ron Harper Jr. going to
One of the
Rutgers.
juniors.
Sam Hauser, Joey Hauser, fucking brothers, I think, at Michigan State and Virginia.
Know.
Matthew Hurd at Duke. Tracy Jackson Davis, Indiana. David Johnson, Jalen Johnson, Keontae Johnson, 3 Johnsons in a row. Corey Crispert, Isaiah Liverts, Remy Martin, Caleb Mills, Evan Mobley, Landers Nally II. What?
It's like Landers Nally's not winning that award. No.
What is it? Yive Pons? That's a name I'm going to have to learn this year.
We touched on him last year at the end. One of the last ones with Sean.
Okay. That was a you and Sean guy, because that was
a deep draft. I think he was, second round hype, but like it was the physically, like this is someone who has an interesting upside.
Yeah. Then Queta River, or Nate Rivers, or Nate Roovers, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Colby Ross.
Very high, yeah.
Fats Russell. I love that name. Fats Russell from Rhode Island. Oliver Sarr, Javante Smart, Chris Smith, Mykeo Teague, Drew Timmy? Yeah, you're going to have to learn these names, folks. Oscar Tashiwi, Trenton Wofford, Joe Wieskamp. That one I know, Wieskamp. Zaire Williams, McKinley Wright, and then Marcus, say that name, Dave. Zagorowski out of Creighton. You think Cade Cunningham's running away with this?
I think, well, here's the problem. The history of this award has been upperclassmen for the most part, yes? Which is my problem. Yeah. Like, that's why I'm like, Luka Garza could win it, because he's an upperclassman. Cade will be the number 1 pick in the draft, probably. But as far as just having dumb college stats, yeah, probably Luka Garza has a good chance. Ayo's actually got a shot.
I think it's Luka. It's Luka or Ayo. That's what I'm going with. It's one of those two, and I can't decide who. Do I go with the homer pick, or do I go with the, like, Luka Garza is my like I say, he's the leader in the clubhouse. He's the leader in my clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, he's big, he's strong, he can shoot well, he does all the little things right. He seems to be a great guy. From all the articles I've read, he seems like fan favorite, locker room favorite. Like, nobody says a bad fucking word about him. So like, I'm cool with that. I like him again, but I just don't.
So
I'm trying to find like the history of the Wooden Award. Do you have?
So I do. So since, let's see, since the year, I'm gonna go back to. All right, since 2007, the 06-07 year, there have been 3 freshmen to win the award. They have all been either the number 1 or the number 2 pick in the draft. Do you want to try to guess who they are? I'll give you the years.
Be easy.
Not be easy.
Derrick Rose.
Not Derrick Rose.
Wow.
So the first one was 06-07. He was the number 2 pick to the Seattle Supersonics.
Kevin
Durant. Then you had
I thought it was the 07 draft.
Yeah.
The 07-08. And that's why I was like
that year Tyler Hansbrough won the Wooden Award.
Psycho T?
07-08, Tyler Hansbrough.
Wow.
And he was a junior that year.
Yeah. I mean, he was.
Go ahead.
I remember the draft, and we were cheering to get Psycho T in our team.
Then you had the 11-12 year, our first year of starting the channel, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And then 2018-2019. We talked about him today. We literally talked about him today, Dave. He's going to play the 3 in New Orleans.
Zion.
Other than that, it's like
I wanted that to be 1920, and I know it's not, but in my brain that's a 1920.
Yeah, 1920 was Obi, because Obi just won it. Let's see.
2021.
Other freshmen would be. Oh shit! Fucking yeah. Those are the only 3 freshmen to win it.
Yeah, it's an upperclassman award. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Like, Cade will be very good. I don't know if his team does suck a lot.
Like,
So that hurt his assist numbers.
even sophomores, and this is where the AO thing plays in because he is a sophomore.
He was a junior.
No, he's a sophomore. Last year was his freshman year.
Where he's a junior.
No, he's a sophomore. Last year was his freshman year. Him and Kofi are both sophomores.
Really?
Yes.
What happened to my brain? Why am I?
Is it because fucking Luka Garza is a senior? You thought they were going at each other more?
This is his third year. You're an idiot.
No, but he's a sophomore. Unless he redshirted the first year.
It's his third year of playing college basketball, Ricky. He played in 1819, 1920, and now 2021.
Then why did it say sophomore when it was listed?
I don't care. This
Unless
is his
he-
third year of college.
Let me see. He is
I'm looking at Sports Reference right now.
Okay. Then the ESPN one had him down as a sophomore when he's not. All right. Good point. Good point.
Like, 3 years of playing. I swear I've heard his name for 3 years in a row. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah,
very
you're
good.
right. You're right. I was wrong. Yeah, the ESPN one had him down as a...
Great.
Yeah, this would be 2021. But basically, the only sophomores to win it, because there are sophomores on the list, Obi Toppin was a sophomore. Trey Burke, 2012-2013, was a sophomore. Blake Griffin in 2009 was a sophomore. And then Andrew Bogut, 04-05, were the last notable ones from our era that won as a sophomore. It's mainly juniors and seniors, like for Frank Kaminsky, Buddy Hield, both seniors. Frank Mason III, senior. Jalen Brunson, a junior. Even like when the award was originally, it was senior.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, if Cade, like, I feel like if Cade, Boston, Jalen Johnson, even like if any of those guys are going to win
20
it,
points a game and some secondary stats, and there's a chance. Because right now, Luka Garza is putting up a fuck ton of all the stats.
well, it's like you look at the three freshmen we looked at. It was like Zion, generational talent, was a fucking like must-see TV every time he hit ESPN.
Yep.
Anthony Davis was really, really fucking good for Kentucky. And like Kevin Durant was, although he wasn't the first overall pick, because fucking
He's the
Greg
best
Oden.
scorer that we've seen in college basketball.
Yeah, like I still remember the matchup between him and JJ Redick. That was like, you had to watch that game. Texas and Duke balling out. I think I'm gonna lean. I think I'm gonna. If you had to put gun to my head, although I don't want to, and I want to go AO.
Yep.
Fuck it, I am gonna go AO. I'm gonna double down because of what I said yesterday, where he's gonna be a top 10 pick. Which I'll be honest, when that video went up today, I'm surprised someone agreed with me, because I did not expect anyone to think. I thought that was a hot take to say that AO is going to play well enough to be a top 10 pick.
I mean, the dude's
He's got it in him.
7-7 right now, I think. So
He's got it in him, but like, can he realistically keep it up all season? Like,
That's the question.
I thought that was a homer hot take.
Even if he gets down to like 19-5-5, he's still very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you going with Cade? You going to double down on the fourth freshman all time to win the award, Dave? Dave's like, I want to go with my boy Luka.
I'm going with Luka Garza. Again, respect the death of the big man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fucking can't. Well, I'll be out. I can't wait for that matchup in the Big Ten. Iowa and Illinois are going to be fucking great games. The only thing that's going to be a travesty, Dave, is no student section to taught Fran McCaffrey during those games, because just like the Boston Celtic blog boys live in your head rent free, the Illini student section, they're living in Fran McCaffrey's head rent free, man. They're always getting under his skin. But that is going to do it for Dave and I today. Great show, Dave. Fucking talking a little basketball, a little college,
You don't seem tired at all right
NFL. No, I fucking woke up during this show.
Sports energizes you.
I don't know what it is. I fucking halfway through this show, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna fucking take a nap anymore. I'll probably eat and then fucking Duke Kentucky. No, Duke Michigan State, Kansas Kentucky.
It's on right now.
Is up later on. Yeah, Duke Michigan State's on right now. Aaron Henry versus Jalen Johnson in that matchup. But yeah. Join the best Discord on the planet. Fucking, I usually say best community, but fuck it. It's the best Discord on the planet in the MVP Discord. Link down below, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. That's how you go ahead and do that. !Patreon. Or you can go to that link down below in the description. That's how you can support us. Pat Hill, Philly Sean, thank you. Our Patreon sponsors. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. You can also follow us at YouTube at MVP Sports. And before we go, Retro says in Twitch chat, if Pacers start selling, I want Brogdon. Retro is a Clippers fan, so he wants Malcolm Brogdon on the Clippers. But that's going to do it for Dave and I. We'll be back tomorrow for a great Wednesday show. There's going to be a football game on, Dave, while we do our show or towards the end of our show.
Because we got a football game on.
We got day NFL, which, can I say one thing before we wrap up? I am on your side from yesterday. After diving into the information a little bit more, I am well-versed, and after listening to Aaron Rodgers Tuesday on the Pat McAfee show, Aaron Rodgers also alluded to it, that he said the Titans had how many COVID cases, and we still had to play them on a Sunday. I am now on your side. The Ravens are getting a little bit of a special treatment. It's unfair.
Thank you.
So I have changed my stance from Monday to Tuesday. Call me a flip-flopper if you want, but that's going to
Aaron Rodgers.
What?
All it took was Aaron Rodgers saying it.
Yeah, once Aaron said, I'm like, oh, maybe a player. Maybe I looked more at it. That's just one case. There are other cases too.
Sure. Like, grand scheme of things.
The Broncos. The more I thought about it, the Steelers, they're getting fucked each and every time. It's like every time they play someone, they have COVID. Or it wasn't the Titans. It was the 49ers Aaron mentioned. Like, the 49ers had so many fucking outbreaks, and he goes, we still had to play them. So I've changed my stance on that. But Dave and I will be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for doing everything you do. And as always, have a good day, everybody.